Hold up. Alright, I definitely forgot to do an introduction. This is a getting back to this whole YouTube thing of what I've been reading. And me being Nate, being a literature student, reading a lot of comics, reading a lot of manga, and I just want to showcase what I've been reading. So, enjoy. Yeah, let's get into it. So first, you have this manga called My Brother's Husband. You can see it right there. This was a very interesting read. Over here in sunny California, we have a lot of LGBTQ plus people and things, and I ain't got no problem with them. But yeah, this like really, I don't know, it's kind of cool to see. It was kind of cool to read. You have Yaichi, who's a single father. He raises his daughter Kana, and yeah, he's a stay-at-home dad, so you don't see that often. And this whole manga, you could say it's kind of revolutionary, or like defeats the norm, changes the norm of what's more accepting in the culture, specifically in Japan. I'm not Japanese, but I know they got a different culture over there. Over here in the U.S., in California, kind of laid back, But yeah, overall, this book had had 1 and 2 parts, and yeah, I'd say it touched on a lot of topics that I didn't think was a problem, but could be a problem. For example, Yaichi, he stands up for Mike Flanagan, who's married to his deceased brother, Ryoji. At some points, I really thought Mike was gonna go for Yaichi because they're twins and they look the same, but no, Mike was a very respectful Canadian, and it's just cool to see that over time their bond grew, and Yaichi even stood up for Mike at some points, and also like that Mike eventually not liked, but was like another uncle or another like mentor to Kana, because yeah, we have this whole social family dynamic, and Yaichi being a single dad, his wife being the opposite, or defeating social norms, and she was a busy woman, busy business woman. So yeah, overall this book, I don't know, it's kind of touching at the end where Mike, he eventually has to go back to Canada. Spoilers, but overall, just this manga was really a way to make this like a step closer for it to be being the norm in Japan. No one's doing something that's not normal. Over here it's normal, but over there, they got some strict people. So believe me, I used to work at a Japanese grocery store, and they're kind of strict. So yeah, hopefully, overall, this comic gets like a 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Another thing, on one part that I liked about the manga, it talked about like them not accepting tats, which yeah, I kind of see, because like if you have tats like this, you kind of seem like a Yakuza man over there. And like there was foreigners with tats in one panel that I remember seeing, and you know, they made a whole deal about it, and hopefully it gets like more just normalized if I ever do go to Japan. If not, I guess I'll have to cover up so I don't become a Yakuza man. Next up, we have Hawkeye. Specifically, the whole 600-page comic omnibus thing with Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. It was a good introduction to who Hawkeye is. I'm not really much of a Marvel person, more of a DC kind of guy, but learning and reading through like 6 hours of this whole thing, you get to learn who Hawkeye is, and he's really you know, a nonchalant kind of guy. You know, he's a loner, he does his own thing, but when the occasion rises and people need him, he pulls through, because that's what you're supposed to do if you're an Avenger. And yeah, I'd say the most interesting part about this whole comic was Kate Bishop. I don't really know a lot about Kate Bishop, but she's kind of like a sidekick, but she kind of could stand on her own. I remember they had like a falling out in between of the comic, and then she goes to LA, but in LA she holds her own against this person named Madame Mask. And yeah, Madame Mask was like more interesting than what Hawkeye had to face, and I feel like Madame Mask was more of a threat because she had like decoys that could bring back the rich and like, you know, keep bringing them back to attack her. So it could be like anyone, right? It was her life something decoys, and I felt like, you know, this was also a ploy to show how like superheroes could just be more than just like the dudes, you know, or like any sidekick. Like they could really just grow and be their own, and like that's what she does. By she takes his dog. Like that's, I don't know. She takes her dog. She's a little defiant, a little youthful, a little rebellious, and you know that was pretty hot. I'm gonna keep it real. That was pretty cool. Well, yeah, that was Hawkeye. It was a good read if you like the hero aspect. It also touched on themes of like social, economic, you know, like the rich is rich, the poor is poor. There's corruption. There's people in the background that monitor and make sure like people like Hawkeye gets taken out, but you know that probably never happens, or if it does, he has backup. He has Kate Bishop. He has his 3 ex girls that like him for some reason. So yeah, just was a good introduction to Marvel. But yeah, next time I play as Hawkeye on Marvel Rivals, I'll just keep this in mind. But yeah, last one we have Blacksad. So I don't know, Blacksad. This is like very noir like story, somewhere along the lines of Hawkeye. Very dark, very political. It follows this world building where like people are represented by the animals they are. And so Blacksad's a black cat. So, you know, he's a whimsical, stealthy, vigilant, you know, that type of thing. And I'd say the part where this story really does good is in the first story where his ex gets killed and he's trying to find out who did it. And so he finds out who did it. Spoiler alert, it's a reptilian, right? It's a turtle. No, it's not a turtle. It's like, I don't even know how to describe them, but it's like this reptilian thing. And you know, what's a reptilian? They could camouflage. They could They got weird eyes. They got freaky tongues. You know, like they're fast. They're sketchy. And so, yeah. Spoiler alert. He pops it. Like there's this one panel that I saw from the comic, and like I would pop someone too. Okay, maybe not like that, but like I would take out the ops. I'll take out the ops too if someone looked like that, because the panel it can show that he was like very confident that Blacksad wasn't gonna pop him. That Blacksad was just gonna like be like, I don't know, he was gonna switch up and work for him, something along those lines. But Blacksad was like, nah, after that link, I gotta take you out. And I'm kind of glad he did that, because you know it's this whole thing about just standing up against corruption. And you know, people in this world, they might not have the power. And, you know, Blacksad has some power, and especially through the first episode, the first story, I'm trying to remember, but he had help from the police department, his boss, and you know, they pulled some strings, helped him, and then he got his shot. And so, yeah, this is good world building in Blacksad. Very dog eat dog world, very noir. Yeah, it even has a game and has like more volumes. Has more volumes I'm like interested in. So yeah, those were 3. But you know, what's good about reading comics if like you don't have your own interests, you know, like, or I read things in classes that like they're interesting, yeah, but I got my own personal reading that I want to get to. And so with that, let's get into our next bit. We got it's kind of an impulse buy, but like, you know, it caught my eye and I've heard good things about it. It was Boom Solomon. This book basically is like, it's basically me, you know. College, he just graduated college, got a good paying job, realizes she hates the job and wants to do something that she likes, which is be unemployed. But seriously, no, she has this boyfriend and they used to be in a band in college, and she's I haven't finished, but she's probably gonna work her way up, get a good gig, be a successful artist, and I don't know, fucking have a bunch of groupies. I don't know, but I don't know. That's just what I've been reading. Manga comics as a lit student.